Campbell Brown.
No bias, no bull.
CNN weeknights, 8 Eastern.
Joining us right now to help tackle some of the most important issues facing our community and the nation, CNN special correspondent Soledad O'Brien, who is the host of Latino in America. Comedian and actor John Leguizamo is going to be joining us in just a few moments. Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa is joining us as well. TV Judge Cristina Perez and Representative Ileana Ross-Lehtinen of Florida with us as well. Welcome to everybody. So good to have you all here. Let me start with you, Soledad. We're going to talk first, I think, about education, because you said in all the reporting you found that the most pressing issue among Latinos is education. What was so striking?
The most pressing issue among young people in this nation as a whole is education. And the truth is, if you look at a demographic that is growing as quickly as the Latino demographic is, if you don't focus on education and some of the serious problems we have in education, really the nation as a whole cannot thrive. So we do a piece in our documentary tonight focusing on a young woman who is really on the cusp, about to graduate, and show some of the struggles that she has. And some of the people around her, Mayor Villaraigosa was kind enough to take part in our piece, really to show that there is, while some of the schools are failing the students, there's also an infrastructure of people there to try to help as well.
Mr. Mayor, I know there has been some improvement, but Latinas have the highest high school dropout rate of all Americans. You were a high school dropout, and yet now you're the mayor of Los Angeles. How do we go from more mayors of Los Angeles or real success stories from the high school dropout rates you're currently seeing?
First of all, we live in a great country, and I was going to school in Los Angeles when California was investing in our public schools. Today we're dead last in virtually every indicator: per pupil spending, in class size, the investment in technology. We've got to invest in our kids again. We've got to set high standards. We not only have the highest dropout rate, we have the lowest participation rate in our colleges, institutions of higher learning. We've got to set the bar high and demand the kind of reform that President Obama has been talking about. This is the civil rights issue of our time when you see the number of kids that are dropping out. The ones who aren't dropping out are scoring in the bottom 20 percentile. It's a crisis, not just for Latinos, but for all of us, given the size of the Latino population in the United States of America.
Congresswoman, you're a certified teacher, I know. What role do you think that Spanish language should play in our educational system?
Well, I have 2 kids. Now they're young adults, but when I raised them speaking Spanish, it was their native language. In fact, when they started kindergarten, I said, no hablan inglés. But now the hard part is getting them to speak Spanish, because as kids become part of the American culture, they really want to blend in. And so I know there's a lot of controversy about bilingual education, and people resent it if you speak Spanish in front of them. But it's really a generational problem. Kids start out speaking Spanish, then they become English fluent, and then it's hard to get them to speak another word of Spanish again. And you've got to realize, as a parent, am I going to be a linguistic teacher, or do I want to communicate with my kids? I speak to my kids in Spanish, but I'll take any language in return.
Christina, why do you think it's so controversial?
Speaking Spanish or English as a second language? Well, I think because, listen, we're in America, and when you come to America, you know, I was taught, as my parents being immigrant, I was raised in Mexico, and I came here, and I didn't know Spanish. English. Spanish is my first language. And I think it's hard because when you're here, the children really have to assimilate, and the success of our educational system is that. So we have to really have children, encourage them to really dedicate themselves. And I think they think it's not, a lot of people may think it's not fair that we offer bilingual education. At some point, depending on the age of the child, you have to offer it in order to make a transition. That's my opinion. But at the same time, I don't think we give kids enough credit. I think that kids, when they're in school and they're immersed with their friends in school, they can do it. You know, I did it at an age where nothing happened to me. I don't have any problems because of it, but it's a hard situation. I think that a lot of people feel that it's not fair to Americans that are here or children that are growing up here.
But you know, one thing that I see generationally is really interesting, which is when my mom came from Cuba in 1947, because my dad's Australian, she didn't speak Spanish at all because she didn't want my father to feel like he couldn't be part of the conversation. So I never grew up speaking Spanish, and now my Spanish is fair to poor. Because of that, and because I'm so frustrated by my lack of good Spanish, I understand a lot, I don't speak it well, my children all are learning Spanish. every single one, because I want to make sure, and they're five-year-old twins and 8 and 7 years old, and I want to make sure that they can speak Spanish. So because, frankly, the demographics of the nation are changing, and the idea of speaking Spanish should be a benefit, a boon. It should be something wonderful on your resume, not something that could possibly, make people feel offended when you're having a conversation. I would love to see everybody being able to talk in multiple languages in America. That would be a great thing.
Without question, Mayor, though, what about in the public education system, though? This is where it becomes really a challenge.
Well, Soledad hit it on the head. First of all, English is the language of commerce and success in America. We've got to learn English. But we should be learning 2 and 3 languages. I live in a city that's the most diverse city in the United States of America. I wish I could speak, in addition to English and Spanish, Mandarin and Korean, Armenian. We should be teaching in our schools. Every kid should be able to graduate from high school, learning English, of course, mastering English, but also being able to speak a second and third language. We got to get with the fact that this is a global economy, that we're connected, and language is a way to be able to successfully maneuver that.
And let me just ask you, Christina, I know a lot of Latino children here in the United States either immigrated at a very young age or have different immigration status in many cases than their parents. How does that affect them in terms of the education system and their opportunities?
Well, listen, one particular thing for me is very important, and I think that whether you believe in immigration reform, whether you believe in part immigration reform, I think that one of the best things about America is that we believe in youth, we believe in our education, and we believe in giving youth a chance. And part of an immigration reform that is being proposed, or really it's called the DREAM Act, it's been around in Congress for quite a long time, gives these children who came here at a very, very young age, 2 or 3 or even younger, who they did not make the choice to move to the United States. For all intents and purposes, the U.S. is their home. This is the only country that they can associate with. Because of lack of documentation, they cannot pursue college. They cannot pursue, the doors are closed on them. And is that, something that we believe in? Do we want to help some of these kids that are the best and brightest to help and contribute to the United States? So I think that part of our immigration reform has to reflect our American values, and that is the strong belief in the youth in America.